There are a lot of questions surrounding the Matrix Resurrections trailer. Questions like, why is Neo living his days as a blue pill? And who is his therapist? In a previous video, we talked about how he could be Dr. Frey, a character from the comics who took care of people who were about to wake up from the Matrix. But the trailer for Resurrections left us a lot of information that suggests that this character could be a replacement to one of the most important characters of the Matrix. Do you want to know who? Then welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
In the Matrix 4 trailer, we noticed that Neo is living the life he would have had if he took the blue pill, purposeless and depressed, taking pills to control his anxiety and seeing a shrink. In therapy, Neo reveals that he's having nightmares.
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams. Am I crazy?
He thinks that what he sees is not real. Maybe he is having nightmares about the events of the previous trilogy. His therapist calms him down.
We don't use that word in here.
In the two teasers from whatisthematrix.com, we hear two narrators. The red teaser narrated by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Morpheus, trying to make us wake up from the Matrix.
This is the moment for you to show us what is real. Right now, we believe it's 1:41 p.m. But that couldn't be further from the truth.
And the blue teaser, narrated by Neil Patrick Harris, the therapist, trying to convince us that everything is fine.
You've lost your capacity to discern reality from fiction. What's real is here and now, 2:43 p.m. Anything else is just your mind playing tricks on you.
The teasers place the therapist on an equal level of importance as Morpheus. In this duality, Morpheus represents the red pill and the therapist the blue pill. But who is the therapist? Our first theory about this character is that he is Dr. Frey. As we've mentioned before, this doctor takes care of humans who are beginning to wake up to reality. We believe that Patrick Harris does play Dr. Frey, but he could be someone else in a new shell. The Architect. The Architect had control over Neo's life. Every decision he supposedly made was the consequence of the father of the Matrix's absolute control.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision.
But are there clues that suggest that Patrick Harris is the Architect? Well, to begin with, many believe that the Architect was inspired by Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology. The character's cold and calculative demeanor is also a visual representation of the father of the internet. Under this archetype, Harris's character does fit the profile of the Architect. He is analytical, it's his job, and he psychoanalyzes people like Sigmund did.
Thomas? You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
The second and third clue is the office and the black cat. This cat is similar to the deja vu cat, the feline that appears when something is changed in the Matrix. It was first seen in the original movie.
Deja vu.
Then again in the third, after the Matrix was rebooted. The only character with the administrative skills to restart the Matrix is the Architect, from which we can deduce that he is responsible for activating the program that changes the Matrix in real time, aka the Deja Vu cat. If this cat is the therapist's pet, it increases the probability that he is the Architect, who is using a new shell so that Neo doesn't recognize him. But there are holes in this logic. The first is that we already saw the Architect inside the Matrix using his shell, so he doesn't need to change his appearance. The second is that Thomas's therapist appears to be empathetic towards him.
Am I crazy? We don't use that word in here.
We don't want anyone to get hurt, do we?
The calculative Architect. He wouldn't fake empathy for Neo. nor will he stoop to impersonating a human. If the therapist were the architect, we would have made dozens of videos trying to decipher his dialogue by now. But the therapist speaks calmly, as a psychiatrist should. So if he is not the architect, then who did he replace? The Oracle. You may be wondering, how? The Oracle did not show any noticeable characteristics of a therapist. The therapist is supposed to analyze and deconstruct to help a patient understand their problems. The Oracle always did the opposite. She helped to make things more complicated. Well, take a gander at the desk. On it, there is a bust of the map of the human brain. The therapist also has a large collection of books about human psychology. Now, who was the program originally created to study all aspects of the human psyche?
Thus the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the Matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother.
The Oracle.
The fact that the Oracle abandoned her original purpose and began to act under her terms left a void in the architect's plans. The architect cannot fully understand human irrationality.
You and I may not be able to see beyond our own choices, but that man can't see past any choice.
Why not?
He doesn't understand them. He can't. To him, they are variables in an equation. One at a time, each variable must be solved and counted. That's his purpose, to balance the equation.
With the Oracle working against him, the architect needs another intuitive program that can study the humans. For us, Harris is the true replacement of the Oracle, a program that can psychoanalyze a human on the brink of reality.
You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
Emotional responses elude the architect. He would simply see them as irrationalities. Still, Harris could be Dr. Frey from the comics, a program created to analyze humans and remove them. As we've mentioned in another video, some of the comic books may have inspired the plot of Matrix 4. So perhaps if this movie is successful, we will see the return of the Matrix comics with new stories that expand even further the Matrix universe. Of course, we cannot rule out the possibility that the therapist is simply a therapist, a human connected to the Matrix, who does not know the system that he is working for, and prescribes antonafluoxin, or the blue pill, to the poor souls without understanding its true function. Though the idea of a new intuitive program is interesting. But do you agree? Is the therapist the new intuitive program? Is he Dr. Frey, or the architect in disguise? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.